if we could all just take a moment and just bow our heads and okay, so as we all know, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on Wednesday, September 10th at Utah Valley University for simply saying, "Let's have a conversation." Charlie was doing such a good job of showing the students that they can think for themselves and have their own opinions peacefully that he was murdered for it. Charlie Kirk never used hate speech. He used speech they hated. Let's all continue to peacefully educate, debate, and encourage our youth to be their own individuals and stop the indoctrination is what Charlie wanted. I wanted to also take a second to discuss something that our group has signed on to help with. It's called the Save Oklahoma Plan. It was developed by Jim Shaw. He's a freshman House rep, and we've agreed to help him implement this plan. And the plan basically is saying that we're taking our state back. No more rhinos, nothing. So in order for us to support a candidate running for anything, the candidate must agree to 7 issues. The first of those issues is fighting the green energy agenda. We're tired of politicians selling us out. So this is just to preserve rural Oklahoma, preserve our property rights, and they must fight against it, or we will not support them. The second of that is prohibiting agricultural use of biosolid waste. This is non-negotiable. No more human manure on our land. It's killing animals, it's killing people. It's not okay. The third point is criminalize hostile foreign ownership of land. I know you can talk to any rhino in Oklahoma City and they're going to tell you that they put legislation forth to stop the CCP or foreign nationals
with no teeth.
There's 0 teeth to it.
Yep.
They did their part, is what they say.
Yep.
They didn't do anything. The next one, kind of controversial. I don't really know why, but mandatory e-verify for all businesses. Basically, it's saying all businesses who hire people need to run the social security numbers through this e-verify. It's a federal program that's been around for many years, 20 years probably. And it basically will tell you if that social security number belongs to a dead guy or if it's been used 20 different times. We're just trying to keep illegals out of our jobs. The next one is to end perpetual toll roads and expose the OTA. If anybody running for office is not for this, we cannot help them. Stop discrimination based on vaccination status. No government, employer, or school has the right to punish Oklahomans for their personal medical choices. Freedom means freedom. And the last one is the ending of taxpayer-funded lobbying. This one needs to end yesterday. I'd like to just point out a couple of examples of what lobbying does. So this is I posted it to our Facebook page, but in case you didn't see it, it says 3 interesting facts from the lobbyist expense disclosure reports. Representative Ellen Hefner, an Oklahoma City Democrat, She was wined and dined 53 times by lobbyists, making her the Democrat fed most often by lobbyists. She still ranks number 25 overall, with 24 Republicans ahead of her.
Jesus.
Lobbyists spent $2,400 feeding her in 2025. It's only September. Number 2. House leader comes later in the list. House Speaker Kyle Hilbert narrowly missed the top 10 list of legislators lobbied the most. He was fed 61 times, making him the 13th most wined and dined legislator in 2025. He ranked 11th among legislators who lobbyists spent the most money on. Lobbyists spent $2,800 feeding Kyle Hilbert. Kyle Hilbert killed geoengineering bills. And third, as chair of the House Appropriations and Budget Committee, Representative Trey Caldwell, a Republican from Lawton, is a key decision maker in how much the state appropriates to its departments. Lobbyists reported feeding him 84 times during this past session, spending about $3,000 on meals and beverages. Tyler Norvell of Norvell Consulting fed the budget chairman 7 times more than any other lobbyist. Norvell represents several agricultural interests, including the Poultry Federation. So we must end the lobbyists here in our state. Okay, just really quick, Melissa wanted to make an announcement about the fair and the GOP.
Is everybody awake this morning? Come on. Hey, this is a glorious day that the Lord has made, and we should rejoice and be glad in it, right? We get to be here in the greatest nation in all of the world. I mean, this is huge. So little update, I am needing sign-ups for the fair. It is September the 25th through October 5th. I will be at a wedding. So right now I really need Saturday morning, the October the 4th. I have some other scattered throughout the week I need to fill, but that morning I can't be there. I have a wedding. My niece is getting married on the 3rd. So that Saturday morning we have plans with family. So I need help on that day for sure. But I need help all week, but it's gonna be fun. I have, if you are a candidate running for office, I have candidate slots as well. So we need to fill those up so you can come and showcase you running for office. So that's happening. Also, I put out that we are going to have a comedy show on November the 8th. We are not doing that. Scratch that. It's got even bigger. So it's now January the 23rd. Brad Stein is coming to the Maybe Center. So we got a very large theater. I have Jake Tankersley. He was just on American Idol last year. So he will be our opening show. So it's going to be a fun family event and laughter, and so just put that on your calendar. We're working with the Maybe Center on ticket pricing right now. So that is going to be a great opportunity. We will have shirts. FYI, these are some of our new shirts. So we will have those at the fair as well. For a donation of $30 or more to the party, you can choose a shirt and happily wear it. So we have 2 choices, but we will also have those at the Brad Stein comedy show as well. So a lot of fun things happening. Need people still at the office. So if you would like to come and give your time and answer the phone and have a great time and be cheery as people come in the door and answer the phone, this is your place to be. So we would love to have you. So that's my pitch. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Angel Cushing. She is a property rights advocate and educator on many major issues facing Americans, from federal overreach to protecting water rights. She has worked with Julianne Romanello, legislators, Trent Luce, and others seeking to save our freedoms and our way of life. So if everybody will please give a warm welcome to Angel Cushing.
Thank you. This is my second trip down here. I believe the first time I was asked to come down here, y'all got hit with a tornado, and it got rescheduled. However, your group did pass a resolution against 30 by 30, and I was so happy to email that up to Dan Byfield at American Stewards of Liberty, and I got a reply from him, and he said, "Wow, That's a very feisty group of ladies. So after this, I think I would like to get a group picture with all the feisty group of ladies so that I can send it up to Dan Byfield and let him meet you all. I got asked to speak here today about 15-minute cities, primarily. So I'm going to break this down. One of the biggest criticisms that I get is that I am trying to give too much information in a short period of time. So if I lose you, wave your arms and I'll back up and try to explain that a little bit more, okay? So 15-minute cities, generally over the long-term goal, the why do we want 15-minute cities, is to do a couple of things. One is to prevent black market sales. So black market sales means any type of trade or economic business that you are doing outside of the system that they want to try to create. So that's one of the big methods. You know, we hear a lot about why are they doing all of this to us, and it's all about control. Well, I wanted to know why. Why are they trying to control? So that is the purpose of building a 15-minute city, and the whole reason they want to try to prevent black market sales goes directly into who's behind all of this. And the biggest major players behind all of this are large corporations. Now, I'm coming from an agriculture background, so I concentrate on the food aspect of that. So your big Kellogg companies and Coca-Cola. And I actually have a white paper. I have a Vanna White. Marjorie decided to be my Vanna White. There's a white paper written by Coca-Cola, and that is, and this was, keep in mind, published back in 2012. The homework on this started way back in the late 1990s. And if you check out their resources, you kind of can see where all of this is coming from. They outline the end goal really, really well. So for the corporation, it is 100% market control. So think of East India trading companies back in the colonial times and the founding of our company. So now you have various entities. So it's not just one. It's not just a Coca-Cola. It's not just a Bill Gates. You have various entities that are each trying to be the next East India trading company. And they are lobbying hard. If they can help Cargill, for example, to take over market control of a different area, then later on, because they have a better partnership and a better relationship, they'll take out Cargill, or Cargill will take out Coca-Cola, or whatever. So the biggest problem with that, with trying to gain 100% market control, and so just understand what market control is. It is, I don't care what I sell you, as long as your only choice of purchase is from me. So in order to gain that 100% market control, they have to lobby Congress and become the government's partner, like the East India Trading Company was with England at the time of our founding. Did you know one of our founding fathers was actually sought after and called upon because of his wonderful ability to run the black market trade behind the East India Trading Company? He's most notorious for organizing the Boston Tea Party. So, Tom, who was that? His name? I'm trying to concentrate so much on making sure that I touch on everything on 15-minute cities that simple things are totally escaping me. So, to start off of what a 15-minute city is, I want to break down some keywords to recognize so that you know that you are dealing with a 15-minute city. I guess before that, I should probably go back and start with who is pushing all of this. So what I found in that thing, so you kind of got the World Economic Forum, right? And then you got China. And so the question is who's behind it? Is it China or is it World Economic Forum? Because they actually compete against each other, each wanting to be the world dominating factor. So I did a lot of digging, and the best that I can find is that, in the paper that you have before you on the back on the resources gives a very good indication of that, and that is Oxford College is a huge backer of these ideas. And the other one is World Wildlife Federation, working together producing these ideas. And so that's out of UK and Britain primarily. Okay, so then how does China get involved? Well, China is the right now the leading contender for building partnerships between private companies and government. And so they're also the best at espionage. Pretty much everything that they have, from their grain to their buildings, all of those ideas have been stolen from other countries and other entities. And they simply stole World Economic Forum ideas and are implementing them faster than what the World Economic Forum can do. Their main offices of the World Economic Forum for these ideas are in Europe and South Africa. But China has surpassed all of those European countries and South African cities that have been implementing this. So that's kind of the background on this. In 2013, 2014, they got welcomed into the United States. Colleges embraced this. There's an organization called the American Planning Association, for all of those that are old enough to remember the United Auto Workers Association. So how that was set up was, I need some mechanics and some people to manufacture vehicles, so I'm going to reach out to the colleges and I'm going to have them train and teach in this regard so that it benefits the Auto Workers Association, and then they can come in engineering and work and fit better. The American Planning Association is set up the exact same way. Their plan is to partner with every college in the nation to design architects and engineers that will then teach in this method and end up as your zoning administrators. So now I don't want to paint all zoning administrators and zoning people in this brush, because I've traveled enough to know that there are some cities and counties that hire local who are not members of the APA or anything like that. And your zoning board, especially if they're local folks, they tend to be just like you and I. And so I paint these guys and categorize them as the first victims in this whole entire scheme. So the scheme starts with form-based zoning. This is really complicated, forgive me. So a little bit of history of zoning. The first real zoning that was put on paper was Paris, France. Now there is some forms of comprehensive planning and zoning way back to the building of the pyramids in Egypt. But modern day planning and zoning actually comes from Paris, France. Back in the day, everybody wanted to tour Paris, France, because you have to think 1200s, 1500s. The reason was because their city was cleaner. They had planned out sanitation. Plague was not on every corner. You could walk the streets without it stinking. So I don't want to paint planning and zoning as bad. Obviously, Paris benefited from that. London and the other European cities finally adopted it. It came to the United States right after the Civil War, back during Jim Crow. It was a method and a way to keep freed black slaves from moving into white neighborhoods. It was solidified in a Supreme Court as yes, cities could have zoning in 1926. So the structure of that zoning is called Euclidean based. So that means that this is an industrial area, so we're going to call that industrial zoning. All the houses are over here, so that's residential zoning. It's based on how it is used. But then after World War II, everybody wanted their own house, and suburbs were the thing, right? The problem was that a developer wanted to come in and build 30 houses. But that would mean he would have to get 30 permits, do 30 studies, do 30 different separate trips in front of the zoning board and through that whole entire method. So form-based zoning was created so that you would only have to make one trip, and any changes or problems that came up could be handled with the zoning administrative office. That's why in those suburbs you'll notice all the houses are kind of cookie cutter. They're all in the same form, okay? Now, laws were created called subdivision regulations to allow form-based zoning. So subdivision regulations were created for form-based zoning. Is that kind of all understanding of that? Okay. And then usually once that suburban neighborhood is built, it then goes back to the regular zoning regulations. So if you Googled form-based zoning prior to the Biden administration and you looked it up, it would say that Euclidean-based zoning is use-based zoning, form-based zoning is place-based zoning, or view-based zoning. It's based on how we want the area to look. After the Biden administration, if you were to Google that, pull it up, it would say that Euclidean-based zoning is racist, and form-based zoning is the way to end racism. So, I haven't looked since the Trump administration came in if that has been redefined yet. I haven't done that. So, once this goes in, what it does is it flips the burden of proof onto the homeowner. So now, I want to add, I'm going to use you as my example. I want to add agriculture to my 50 acres that is butting up against a residential area. I have to go in and I have to prove that that land is actually suitable for agriculture. The burden of proof is on me, not the zoning administrator. If I have a problem with, the zoning administrator comes out and he says, hey, your garage is too far into the easement and you have not set back far enough, he doesn't have to prove that my garage is actually moved further, or she doesn't have to. I have to prove, I do, that it's not. So the burden of proof is on the landowner. The other thing that it does is it removes your ability to petition your government. Not completely, but totally. So now instead of petitioning your zoning board with an appeal process or petitioning your commissioners, you have to petition your zoning board or your zoning administrator, and then your zoning administrator then gets to decide whether or not you have met the burden of proof and can go proceed onto your zoning board or onto your elected officials. Now, I actually sat in a county commission meeting in which the lawyer that brought this kind of zoning onto our county was there, and I heard him pitch it, and let me tell you, he was good. He was good. If I didn't know what I knew then, I probably would have bought it. But the main point of his pitch to those county commissioners was, this will free up your time. We will then get to decide who gets in front of you. And a lot of these commissioners have heard an awful lot of complaints that people quite don't understand that particular issue. And so they're thinking, wow, I could be relieved of these folks that don't understand the issue, that are kind of just yelling at us and bogging us down. And so, yeah, this might be a really good idea. That's how it's pitched to them. So it's not the case in every area where I've seen form-based zoning. There are commissions, because remember they are in charge. There are commissions who said, no, we don't like that. We'll accept the subdivision regulations, but we will not allow you to strip the people's right to address their government. So I don't want to paint that as a, this is happening everywhere, but that is the standard that's being pushed. So who's pushing it? Most of this is coming down through architecture and engineer companies that have been hired by economic development or recommended by economic development to your cities and to your counties. Now, why would your city and county want to go down this path? It's directly tied to federal grant money. At least it has been. The last time I looked at Economic Development's website yesterday, they did say that things are shifting, but we're not quite sure how far they have shifted yet. Okay. So some of the key things to look for is words like district. So when you see your zoning regulations changing to districts, your comprehensive planning changing to districts, what that is saying, or a big red flag to me, is that they are now moving the area under subdivision regulations, because districts fall under subdivision law and subdivision regulations. Which means if it hasn't brought form-based zoning in, it's going to, because you're creating the umbrella law to allow form-based zoning by having those districts. Now, districts is just a word, right? And so it doesn't necessarily mean that, I'm going to, rhinos are a good example. They do call themselves Republicans, right? So, but under state law, and every state is different under their law, usually districts is what defines and falls under subdivision regulations. Form-based zoning is only allowed under subdivision regulations. So you have to change, if you want to put form-based zoning on your whole city, you have to change your city and put it all under subdivision regulations. And they are defined as districts. Another thing